So far this season, every race has one thing in common. That's you ending up in victory lane. Pulling off something that nobody's ever done. I know there's still a long way to go. I know you ultimately want to be in Homestead racing for a championship, but just sum up these last few weeks and just how much fun you're having right now.
Yeah, it's been really crazy, honestly. To be able to start off with I'd say a pillar career achievement and winning the Daytona 500 to, I'd never, in my NASCAR or my stock car racing career went back-to-back to victory lane. The fashion that we did that in, how dramatic that was. Then, of course, with history on the line and everything right there in front of us, we have the weekend that we did at COTA, sit on the pole, fade early in the race, but then claw back through to the lead and then hold off Ryan Blaney, who was incredibly fast all day long. And then, of course, Shane breaks through into second there at the end of the race. And it's like, very fitting, the guy that has been unstoppable. I've got to now stop him to, win my third race in a row and kind of cement my name in the history books when it comes to that to start a year. So it was very, very fun inside the car all day long to be able to work at it and just continue to find ways to make speed over the course of the run. And then, when we had that final restart there and I'm in the lead and I kind of feel like we'd gotten Blaney to a point where, he'd kind of faded. And Shane breaks through into second. It's like, great. Well, now what? Now what do I do? And to just be able to hold him off and just execute that final run perfectly was a lot of work, but we got it done.
To hold him off in that fashion, especially knowing that's the track where you got your first win as a member of this team. Does that make it any more sweeter knowing that you got it done in that fashion and you did it there to make history?
Yeah, certainly. It was quite a way to start, my time here at 2311. It was only a few races into the season to be able to get that first win in the 45 car the way that we did. Yes, we had to survive a lot of overtimes in 2023, but we kind of dominated that race, more so than I think we dominated the race this past Sunday. As crazy as that sounds, I think I led more laps this past Sunday, but I never really got away like I did a couple years ago. So we just, the things that we talked about in the offseason and knew that we had to improve, we had to execute. We couldn't make the mistakes when we had the race-winning car. All of those things came into play on Sunday. There were so many opportunities throughout that day in the beginning of the race to kind of lose our composure and fall further back. There was opportunities when we had the concerns about the loose wheel in the left rear to pit and lose our track position. When it came to the pit cycles and just defending against the 12 and the 97 both, there was so many opportunities to kind of throw it away. And just to be able to stay focused, stay locked in, and hit my marks and just run fairly clean laps to hold those guys off was very rewarding considering everything we've been working on in this offseason.
You mentioned the offseason. Take me back to those conversations. Everybody's seen the classic movie Space Jam. It seems like y'all got a little bit of Michael's secret stuff, and it's been paying off so far. Just what were those conversations like, especially after a year that was tough for you personally and professionally? How did you guys really rally the troops in order to have this hot start that you guys are having?
Yeah, I think sometimes people, think or expect what's the aha moment. We got it, and nothing really jumps out at me, to be honest. I think it's just you go into the off season and you look at your body of work in 2025. And it's like, all right, let's walk through these things. I think for us it was just the details that we went through. You could maybe argue one detail was more important than the other, but I think we just did a really good job of kind of opening the hood, taking a look in, and seeing what went wrong in 2025. And I think we made really good adjustments on those things throughout the course of the off season. Typically, I feel like you get to the off season, you take a couple weeks off, you kind of refresh. But for me and this team, we got home from Phoenix, we debriefed after that final race, and that next day mentally, I'd already switched gears to 2026 in the gym, whatever it might be, to all right, how are we going to make 2026 a better year? So I think not just me, but the entire team really carried that mindset. So we were able to uncover some things and really get that process started of how are we going to operate in 2026 so that we do not make the same mistakes again.
Having those moments in victory lane with your family, with Michael, do you feel like a kid again. Obviously, I mean, you're racing for obviously one of the most recognizable, iconic athletes of all time, and you're able to celebrate with him week after week with your family as well, knowing what you guys have gone through. How are you feeling in those moments? Do you feel like, just a kid on the playground and sometimes?
My son certainly does.
Yeah.
He's both of my kids actually. Rookie's a little too young to be like crawling around.
Doesn't
in victory
remember.
lane.
He won't remember.
Well, he
anything
might.
yet.
You never know. He might remember some of it.
Yeah, some
but,
great pictures to look back on.
Yes, but Bo absolutely is going to remember all this stuff, and he just. It's been really fun to see his excitement throughout all of this. Like last year, when I would come back to the bus after a tough day, he's sharing my emotions, my feelings about the day with me. I will say though, throughout those tough days, he did a good job of it's crazy that the kid is helping the dad kind of get through these things. But I'd walk in the door sometimes after the race, and he kind of knew to help pump me back up. And as someone who's pretty hard on himself when he does make mistakes, me as an individual, having your son kind of pick you back up and get you back into just being dad and not a race car driver in those moments was great. But absolutely, in victory lane, sharing those moments with him, with my wife, with Rookie, are a lot of fun. Seeing just how excited he is, how excited my wife is. Rookie, obviously excited because everyone's excited, but it's just with everything that kind of went down at the end of the year for us with Rookie, to be able to have these moments and be able to celebrate, these wins together as a family just means a lot.
And in such a short time, this organization as a whole, you have yourself and Bubba right now towards the top of the standings. You both have crown jewels under your belt, multiple playoff appearances. Just what does that say about the culture you guys have built in such a short time? Obviously, this is a young team, only been around since 2021, but you guys are proven that you guys are a force around here.
Yeah, for me, I guess more so helping it grow. I'd say Bubba and Kurt really laid down the foundation, along with Michael and Denny as well. So I think from afar, when I was at RCR, I saw the growth the trajectory that this team was on. Is very impressive in the day and age of the sport that we're in, for a team to start where they started and already be where they were in a short time. So it was very exciting to have the opportunity to come here and drive and help grow that from where they had started. So yeah, just one thing that always hits me, every winter when we have our holiday party, I remember the first one I was a part of, the venue's smaller, the amount of people that are there is smaller, and every year it's grown a lot. And this past year, a brand new venue, and just a whole lot of people, and it's really, really awesome to see how much this is growing, and everyone making a good effort to kind of keep the environment and the culture that this team had at the very start of it.
Looking at the Phoenix, a place where, you've been able to have a couple top 5 finishes, led a lot of laps. It seems like, obviously, you guys know what y'all have. You've won 3 races in a row, but this is kind of we get into the more normal stretch of the schedule.
The bread and butter.
We had drafting tracks, we had a road course. What excites you the most about being able to get out there and potentially, add another trophy to the trophy case?
Yeah. I think for me, as we were getting this year rolling, it's important to kind of be ahead. Again, today the cars are heading out of airspeed and heading down the road to Phoenix. So, you kind of have to work ahead to some degree. So we have certainly been working on, COTA, Vegas, and Phoenix for a while now. And honestly, these 3 races that we had on the stretch coming up, we were working on it this off season. It was hard for me to pick which one I was more excited about, truly, with the work that we had done. So for me, in this 3-race stretch, we're 1 for 1 so far. The work that we had done really applied to the race weekend itself. The second test is coming up this Sunday. I feel like we've really understood where we kind of fell short in the fall, and understand where our strengths were in the spring, and have a good plan and approach with our car, with how we're going to run the race to have a better day. So I'm really, excitement-wise, pretty equal across the 3. So I'm really excited to see what we have for speed going into Phoenix. I think we'll be top 5 at worst, honestly. And when you have that kind of confidence, it's huge. And then Vegas, we've been so good there in the past. We just haven't found victory lane. So these next 2 races, I'm very excited about how our preparation has been looking.
full weekend of racing as well. You guys are going to be sharing the track with IndyCar. Just your thoughts on that experience. Going to be a lot busier out there, but also, looking at strategy, tire fall off. Phoenix is notorious for a lot of tire wear, different kinds of rubber when you think about their series and you guys. How do you see that playing out and possibly impacting you guys this weekend?
Yeah, I think, typically the IndyCar stuff, when it lays the rubber down, the racing groove gets narrow. Just kind of how the racing plays out. Yeah. But I think pretty quickly, transitioning from their stuff to ours, there'll be a little bit of a transition period, getting the rubber off of the IndyCar rubber off of the track, getting the Goodyear rubber into the track. But yeah, that's what you just said is just so great to hear, right? There was a number of years we go to Phoenix, and it was a bit of a product of where the age of the surface was, but also how hard the tires were that we were racing at the time. And it's been really great to see this evolution happen at Phoenix, where it's kind of turning back into the racetrack it was before the reconfiguration and the relocation of the start-finish line. So I'm personally very excited for just the amount of tire fall-off that we're going to have while we're racing there. I mean, I remember the day and age where you'd maybe have half a second to a second of tire fall-off at Phoenix with cars that had less downforce and more power. And now, looking at it, it's expected to be like 2 seconds of fall off over the run, which is a lot. And so it's really cool to see Phoenix be getting back to that point where the handling is so important.
You've gone 3 for 3 already this season. How do you and this 45 team keep your foot on the gas? You got a heck of a cushion in the point standings, but how do you guys keep from getting complacent, and how do you guys keep things going forward in order to stack as many wins as you want this year?
Well, I mean, I think for us right now, we've just been hitting it, really. And I think for us, it's giving us a lot of confidence in the week. We're going about our work during the week with that confidence. And truly, it feels like it's just been building up as we've gone this year. Coming off the 500, everyone's obviously at the highest of highs. And going into Echo Park Speedway, I mean, we carried that into the start of that race with running strong and leading, I believe, the most laps in that race. So obviously, we had our damages, but we didn't let that phase us because of the success we had the week before. And then we managed to turn that into another win. So, I mean, by the time we were rolling in Dakota, I mean, we're just feeling, extremely confident in what we have underneath us. And, yeah, that played out exactly that way on Sunday. So it seems like everything is in a really good spot. We really believe in our process right now, and it's been delivering for us. We've been getting the results.
You guys are just getting started, man. Tyler Reddick, good luck this weekend. Thank you for the time.
Absolutely.